Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, and empowerment coach. And I'm here today to talk about Jupiter moving direct, finishing its journey through Pisces and entering Aries in December on the 20th. This is a pivotal time for all of us, as Jupiter represents expansion and wealth and is known as the great benefactor. Before I start talking about what this period means for us, I want to let you know that this video is based on whole sign Western astrology. If you're a little bit more advanced, I've become more and more enamored with the Placidus system. When I look at a chart in Placidus, I see the size of the houses, I see the accesses and the degrees of those accesses of the houses, and it gives me a lot more detail about the chart and the soul's journey that the individual is walking through. So if you are more advanced, you might want to look at Placidus, because what you're going to see is if this house, how big is, if it's divided into two signs, which sign is predominant and how it plays out is going to give you more indications of how influential this is going to be. For instance, for me, I'm an Aries rising, and yet my Aries first house, I'm a 26-degree Aries rising. So my Aries portion of my first house is rather small, and the Taurus portion of it dominates in Placidus. So I'm really a lot more identified with the Taurus energy. While I know that I'm very Arian, Taurus and Aries can be very complementary in its challenging dynamics. Okay, so let's talk about Jupiter and its retrograde in Neptune. It has gone to the 28th degree of Neptune. Jupiter is the natural ruler of Pisces, what they call the ancient ruler. Neptune is the modern day ruler. I think this is very important because retrogrades are naturally about review and reevaluation and rest and assessment. The 12th house of Pisces is about the bedroom. It's about places we spend time alone. It's about where we literally dream. It rules hospitals and prisons and retreats and ashrams. It rules ancestors and is very indicative of past life energy. So the house that your 12th house is, and Pisces is your 12th house, there's a very spiritual nature to this. And most of humanity has lived religious lifetimes. Spirituality, religion has dominated the communities and the civilizations throughout time. So that's not unusual. But I believe that Jupiter's retrograde in Pisces at the 28th degree, 29th degree, and coming back into that pure 0 degree is all about the idea of who am I as a spiritual being? What is the meaning of my existence? And do I really believe in my ability to manifest the life I want to live? Because the 12th house is where we leave the body. It's the house behind the house of self. It's things we cannot see. So we have to kind of go into this intuitive body. Now, not everybody's 12th house is Pisces, but it will have this layer of energy regardless of the sign. So Jupiter traversing this in retrograde is giving us an opportunity to assess where we stand in our beliefs. Where are we being dominated by maybe our fears or things that we want to escape? And as we move into Aries, when Jupiter moves into Aries on the 20th, and it will stay in Aries until May. And I think this is a really powerful time because this period, this next 5 months or so, is going to set up your experience when Jupiter moves into the Taurus energy. The Taurus energy being where I take my skills and I make money from them, where I see my self-worth and my value. So now let's go back to the idea that As Jupiter, the planet of faith, let's talk about what Jupiter represents. Jupiter represents first and foremost faith and belief. It is the big philosophical questions in life. Who am I? Why am I here? What does my life mean? It represents wealth, expansion. It represents university, academia, higher education, broader perspective. It represents discovery, cultural experiences, long distance journeys, foreign experiences. And oftentimes I want to clarify foreign experiences because we sometimes as human think we're putting our human body somewhere else. It's more about things we have never done before and never experienced. We have an opportunity in Jupiter's energy to really garnish wisdom and apply that wisdom. Jupiter is bigger than life. Jupiter is zestful and brings joy and brings expansion. It has an opportunity to bring bliss and contentment because the ninth house, which it naturally rules, is the house following the eighth house of crisis and trauma. So somewhere when we've experienced trauma in the eighth house, it has solidified or shifted our beliefs in a way that offers that expansion. Now let's look at Jupiter on a more challenging side. Most astrologers don't really talk about Jupiter or Venus for that matter from their challenging aspects. And I find that to be a little bit unfair because Jupiter can be extremely entitled, pretentious, pompous. It will deny its negative traits. It is grandiose at times, overly optimistic, and in many ways, it can be demanding absolute power. If we think about in historic times, the church ruled power. I can't remember which king it was of England, but I think the King James version of the Bible is literally where the king came in and wrote his own version of the Bible because he didn't like what the other version said. So it can be very unrealistic expectations, doesn't always acknowledge defeat. Jupiter as a planet is the largest planet, and it has 4 moons that are the size of the planet Mercury. So there's a very large sort of gluttonous sort of, I've got the big pants on in town energy with Jupiter in its challenging dynamics. And the entitlement and the pretentiousness of Jupiter has been the downfall of many a monarch throughout history. So when we're seeing Jupiter go into Aries, the sign of self, the sign of the personality, we're seeing a double fire element, which can be very inspiring. It can be very encouraging and very heroic in my willingness to look at what I need for myself. So let's look at see what the first, because it's going to move into Aries. Aries naturally represents the first house. So look at the qualities that we're going to layer here as we experience this expansion. We're going to see ourselves with an opportunity to really get clarity and decisiveness in our actions and based on our belief in ourselves, our ability to co-create with the universe. And this is what I think the benefit of Jupiter's retrograde in Neptune offered us, because spirituality for me is a real awareness of my divine desire, deserving, and intention to experience my soul in the dense, arduous experience of the human dynamic. So here, when Jupiter moves into the first house, it gives us a sense of control over our lives or the possibilities of control, the direction we want to go in life. It gives us an opportunity to choose success, to sort of really look at our fears, because fear can be debilitating in the first house and literally defeat us. It can give us an experience where we just give up easily. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to see Jupiter really task us to look at ourselves and where we put our focus. You know, if you think about a religious Sunday sermon, oftentimes we'll see a hymn, we'll see a focus on prayer, we'll see a focus on study and teaching. So here, I think this is about studying myself and the expansion of myself and what do I want for myself. And then I layer the idea that the first house of Aries is also life force energy. It's that survival instinct. It's that will to live. You know, it's that person who is like, you know, been experienced something, you know, maybe they were shot, maybe they were hurt in some way and they dig themselves out. That's very Aryan. Aries has a crisis energy attached to it because it's the hero who goes into heightened situations and reacts from an instinctual place, and that transforms it to courage and bravery. This is what I think we're going through right now. And I think that we're really going to start to look at where we've let our trepidations, our obstacles become bigger than they really are because we projected something out into the future. Aries in a challenging way can be belligerent, direct, aggressive, hostile. It can be confrontational and overbearing, one of those people who interrupts you all the time when you're in an argument. But it's also the risk taker. It's the pioneering spirit. So I think Jupiter's transit in Aries, regardless of the house it falls in for you. So when we're looking at this whole sign Western astrology, we're starting with your rising sign. So for instance, if you're a Leo rising, then Aries is going to be your 9th house. So you're going to layer the dynamics of the Aries energy, first house energy, and 9th house energy, which Jupiter naturally rules, and Jupiter's influence and dynamics. This is why I think I'm resonating a little bit more lately with Placidus, because it feels like it gives me some real detail. So why this is so important. Why is Jupiter's transit through Aries so important at this time? Jupiter does this every 12 years or so. This is not unusual for Jupiter. But I think because of world dynamics, because of what we've been experiencing through the nodal structure, being Taurus and Scorpio, the skills that I use to create my bounty, my security, my personal comfort, my voice, Taurus, Scorpio, other people's money, power and control over us, trauma that realigns or shakes up our beliefs. So as we see Jupiter transiting Aries, we're going to get an opportunity over these next few months to really anchor in our belief about ourselves, to anchor in the possibilities of something new, something foreign that we've never experienced, which then educates us about our own co-creation and gives us the wisdom and the knowledge to persevere forward as we enter Taurus. Because when Jupiter enters Taurus, it's going to be very interesting. And I'm going to do a whole separate video on that later on. But just quickly, I want to touch on what's going to happen. Because Jupiter will move into Taurus on the 16th of May, 2023. Just a little over 10 days after a lunar eclipse in Scorpio at 14 degrees. This is going to trigger the energy of the lunar eclipse in Taurus this last November on election day, November 8th. So we're going to be revisiting themes that are still playing themselves out as I record this video. So there's going to be this, the other thing that's going to happen is that when Jupiter moves into Taurus, it's going to start its very tight conjunction as the nodes go through the last few degrees of the Scorpio-Taurus energy before moving into the Libra-Aries axis. This to me can really blow the socks off of things, okay? So as we are conscious and we are aware of our co-creation, and rather than villainizing ourselves for what we've been creating, sitting in a place of awareness and looking at the opportunities and the good luck that Jupiter will offer us as we are, who am I? maybe I'm just an evolving being. What is my purpose here? Maybe my purpose is to experience bliss and joy and expansion of my soul. And so rather than going into this critical energy that can kind of show up within the human experience, this gives us an opportunity to start to practice over these 5 months. And what I believe these last eclipses, we had the eclipse at the end of October, which was the Taurus eclipse. And then we had the Scorpio eclipse, as I said, on the 8th of November. So we're really redefining and honing and creating focus on who we are as individuals, our personal voice and value on the planet, and the ability to create that through our skills, through our ability, our capabilities is the word I want to use, our talents, our gifts, and those are varied. And at the same time, as Uranus has been moving through Taurus, and Uranus is at 16 degrees as I record this video, so it had a great influence on this previous eclipse. So we're going to see this point triggered again. So we're going to see an opportunity for liberation, an opportunity to express our genius, because that's what Uranus is. All these things are going to be triggered for when we get to Taurus. So what we're doing during the Aries energy is sowing the seeds. We are redefining, honing, and anchoring in our sense of self in a new way, in a way that transcends the human experience and the idea that I want to kind of go to the idea that Sagittarius rules, or Jupiter rules Sagittarius. The opposite sign is Gemini. And Gemini is our everyday rote experiences of things we do like this. And sometimes we call Gemini the monkey mind because it gets caught up in that. So this is really an opportunity to start to take these broader concepts that we talk about when we talk about the 12 divine laws of the universe, the law of attraction, the law of allowing, the law of cause and effect, the law that we are all one. We're applying these things and then carving out our own individual vibration within this concerto of life. So I really feel like this is a time to be excited, because the fire element is a spark of creativity. It's inspiration. It's encouragement. Without life, you have no, or without fire, you have no life, as they say in Survivor. And here we're going to see an opportunity to really stoke that in a way that serves us for the highest and greatest good of all. So I would encourage you to look at where Aries is in your personal chart, because regardless of the house, let's say you are a Libra rising, Aries is going to be your 7th house. So there's still a sense of your individuality within that house. There is a sense of you finding balance and harmony within cooperative relationships and finding yourself within that energy. So for me, as I said earlier, I'm an Aries rising, but I also know that Taurus dominates my 1st house. And I really feel as if this is a time for me to look at where my Aries energy has held resentments that have held me back, where I've held anger or frustration that didn't serve me. If you have a stellium of planets in Aries, let's say Mercury is there, or Venus is there, or Mars, those are your personal planets, there's going to be a lot of reassessment of your beliefs about, how you think and what you speak. And are you being open and expansive in your experience and allowing others to express themselves? So this is really powerful, because the house is going to represent the environment, the landscape, the topography of this journey of Jupiter. So I hope you found value in this video. They're really fun to make, and I'm enjoying doing it. If you have any input, I'd love to hear it, how you're experiencing these eclipses, how you've been experiencing Jupiter's expansion in Neptune. If you found a sense of yourself beyond the physical experience, are you starting to feel your own ability to intend experiences and to kick in the law of attraction and to bring these experiences into your physical world, because that is what is on the agenda. That is what is being offered to us in this time and space and in these astrological times. We still always will know that Pluto's making itself known as it breaks down old decayed structures, old fears, historic repressions. We know Uranus is offering liberation from any energies that have been so fixed and so inflexible that they have been threatening to break us. We know that Saturn has been making that square to Uranus, which will be loosening up, giving us an opportunity to incorporate all we have revealed about the truth of who we are, because we are so much more than this dense physical experience. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be doing a new moon in Sagittarius video. That's going to be literally the day after Jupiter stations direct in Pisces. So we got a lot of Jupiter Sagittarian energy layered on top of all of this as we move into Sagittarius season. It's very exciting. So again, my name is Teri Hunter. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and hit that notification bell, as I'll be doing more and more content and hopefully helping you be a powerful co-creator in your own life. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll be back soon. Take care.